It is no secret that AJC has, for decades, been sounding the alarm against the multitude of threats posed by the Iranian regime's destructive and destabilizing role in the world. That includes repeated calls for the annihilation of Israel, support for terrorist organizations such as Hamas and Hezbollah, pursuit of nuclear weapons, expansionist interference in the internal affairs of other countries, dissemination of anti-Semitism, and of course, pervasive human rights abuses. Our next speaker, recipient of this year's AJC Moral Courage Award, has dedicated her life to exposing the abuses of the Iranian regime, risking her life in the process to shed light on those human rights abuses and advocate for the Iranian women who are fighting bravely for a better future. Described by the New York Times as the woman whose hair frightens Iran, Masih Alinejad is a journalist, author, and women's rights campaigner, and one of the most prominent and vocal opposition figures challenging the Iranian regime. Born and raised in northern Iran, Masih started her career as a parliamentary journalist in Tehran, where she drew controversy for her articles on corrupt lawmakers. In 2009, she was forced to leave Iran after the crackdown on protests against the disputed presidential elections. In 2014, she founded a campaign against the compulsory hijab, which became the largest civil disobedience campaign in the country's history. And just last year, Masih was the target of an Iranian kidnapping plot, as Iranian intelligence agents spied on her New York City home and tried to pay her family to lure her out of the country. But she hasn't given up, she hasn't cowered, and she continues to fight for her beliefs. We have the distinct honor today of hearing her story firsthand and experiencing up close what true courage looks like. Please join me in welcoming Masih Alinejad.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. It's an honor being on this stage among those distinguished leaders from Ukraine, President Zelensky, the hero of all democracy fighters, Secretary Blinken. Secretary Blinken, if you're still hearing me, I was going to ask you not go easy on Islamic Republic. I want to thank, huge thank, to American Jewish Committee for inviting me. How ironic. I'm coming from a country where the regime hates America. The regime hates the state of Israel. Guess what? The same regime hates me, free woman. Millions of free women who are fighting against religious dictatorship. So I'm honored to be here and ask you, when we have common enemy, what can we do? We have to be united as well. We need a united Middle East. We need a united Middle East against religious dictatorship. We need a democratic Middle East where women and men are equal. That is why I'm here. Today, I'm here to tell you that, have you ever seen angry crowd of Iranians on your TV saying death to Israel, death to America? Yes or not? I'm here to tell you a different story. I am one of them. I grew up in a tiny village, watching all the clerics and mullahs through my TV, black and white TV. They were brainwash us. My generation were told that you have to say death to America, death to Israel as loud as the people in White House hear your voice. I was told that your death to Israel chants will shake the Tel Aviv. But these days, there were massive protests in Iran. Iranians are risking their lives. They get guns and bullets. But all you hear, no single chance against Israel or America. Still, against Russia, China dictators, against all the dictators, Hamas, Hezbollah, against the Islamic Republic. And that gives you a message that you have to support those people who want to have peace with democratic countries. You have to stick with the people of Iran who are actually risking their lives and saying that we are your friends. And I want... And there is a specific protest that I want to mention. In 3 days, November, bloody November, the Iranian regime killed 1,500 people in the streets. They shut down the internet. They killed people. The main slogan was that, death to Islamic Republic. They were asking America, the Europe, democratic country, to support them. 1,500 people got killed, and now the Mothers for Justice, their mothers calling on the free world that, look, when you ignored the Russian activists calling you to isolate Putin, what happened? Now war is here. If you ignore the chant of Iranian people, then you have to face Islamic ideology, Islamic dictators here in Europe. I myself don't think that I'm safe miles away from Iran, and that's why I'm loud here. No. As far as the Islamic Republic is in power, none of you are safe. Right now that I'm talking to you, American citizen, Swedish citizen, French citizen, German citizen, British citizens are in Iranian prison. They're being used like bargaining chip. And what I want you is not too much to ask. I want you to get united and ask all your leaders to ask Iranian regime first, release all the innocent political prisoners. All you hear in the West is just talking about nuclear deal. But believe me, Iranian people in the streets want to have democratic regime. They want to get rid of dictatorship. Whether you support them or not, one day we will get rid of the Islamic Republic, but the history will judge those countries who have stood up with the dictators rather than with people of Iran. I myself, I was the target of the Islamic Republic to break me. They did everything. Everything. First, they arrested the woman who sent videos to me. 29 women got arrested only on one day. I felt guilty and miserable. But their mothers joined them. And that gave me power that these people are not going to give up. So the government didn't give up as well. They went after my family. They interrogated my 17-year-old mother, who has nothing to do with my campaign against compulsory hijab against Islamic Republic. That didn't stop me. They brought my sister on TV to disown me publicly. I was watching my sister 17 minutes, denouncing me. That didn't stop me. They put my brother in prison for 2 years. I felt miserable and guilty. But I have bigger families inside Iran whose family got killed, tortured to death, and they want me to be their voices. So putting my brother in jail didn't stop me. You remember I told you the black and white TV in my village? I was watching the mullahs. Now the mullahs are watching me. And I'm telling them, don't get me wrong, it's not about me. When I'm saying the mullahs are watching me, it means the mullahs are watching millions of other women, other men who are using their mobile phone like their weapon. I have 9 million followers on all my social media, more than the supreme leader of Iran, more than the mullahs. I'm not a model. I'm not an influencer on Instagram. I'm just echoing the true leaders within the society. I'm just echoing the voice of Iranian people. And every day when I wake up, by all the attack, harassment, I tell myself that this regime did everything to break you. Yes, they did. Sometimes they were successful. I cried. But listen, I have only 2 options: to feel miserable every day or to make my oppressors feel miserable. I choose the second one. And I want you Thank you. And I want you to join me and be the voice of Iranian people who made the Islamic Republic miserable. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not used to it. I'm not used to it. I'm used to get hate message from the regime. We have common enemy. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Thank you, Masih, for that very inspiring, unbelievably inspiring presentation. You've made it abundantly clear to our audience and everyone watching at home why you are so deserving of this year's prestigious Moral Courage Award. On behalf of American Jewish Committee, I'm so pleased to present you this award, which reads, AJC Moral Courage Award presented to Masih Alinejad, June 2022, New York City, for your moral, intellectual, and physical courage, extraordinary bravery, and commitment to the protection of human rights.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I dedicated this award to the people of Iran. Don't listen to what you hear from media. Listen to social media. Listen to the people of Iran who are actually sacrificing their life to save the rest of the world from Islamic ideology, from Islamic religious dictatorship. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Amazing. Congratulations.